Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Eta
Eta
Parihare
Parihare
O Ye Papi Vrinda Kare Kabe Lathi Maron Tara Shirira Pare Eta Papi Ninda Kare तबे लाथी मारून तारा शिरेरा उपारे एता परिहारे ओ ये पापी निंदा करे तबे लाथी मारून तारा शिरेरा उपारे एता परिहारे ओ ये पापी निंदा करे. You keep saying kore. It's not kore. Tabe lati maron tara shirera upare. Please repeat. Eta parihare oye papi ninda kare. Tabelati marontar shirera upare. Eta parihare o. It's kore? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Tabelati marontar shirera upare. Yeah. Uh-huh. So why is it kare and upare? Kore. Oh, that's a diacritics like that? Oh, I see. Okay. Right. Oh, I see. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. Sorry about that, Abhimanyu. Please forgive me. Okay. Yes, next. Eta parihare oye papi ninda kare. Shirera upare. Go ahead, chant. Eta parihare oye papi ninda kore. Tabelati maron tara shirera upare. Anyone else? Everyone's really shy today. Okay. Matijis? Eta parihare oye papi ninda kare. Tabelati maron tara shirera upare. Eta parihare oye papi ninda kare. Kore. Tabelati maron tara shirera upare. Eta parihare oye papi ninda kore. Tabelati maron tar shirera upare. Mataji? Taparihare oye papi ninda kare kore. Tabelati maron tar shirera upare. Translation and purport by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He didn't translate it, he just wrote the commentary on it, I guess. Translation by someone else. Therefore, I kick the head of any sinful person who disregards the glories of Lord Nityananda and dares to criticize him. Commentary by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The word parihara means to rectify the false, to drop the charges, to pray, to offer, to abandon, and to neglect. In order to permanently stop the continual irreverence towards the Supreme Lord by those hellish people who enviously criticize Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and to render them eternal benefit and good sense, the author is ready to kick them in the head. By this statement of the most merciful Thakur Mahashaya to the staunch atheist, the transcendental goddess of learning, Shuddha Saraswati, displays the firm attachment of a servant towards his master, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, thus teaching everyone through illuminating words that although Thakur Mahashaya and other pure devotees who act and preach in his footsteps are detached from those who are extremely uninterested in their own welfare, who are determined to run towards hell, and who are ignorant of the truth regarding Sri Nityananda, they are nevertheless selflessly and causelessly merciful toward the fallen souls. While Srila Thakur Vrindavan, who is a Vaishnavacharya, is a direct incarnation of Vyasa and servant of Nityananda, enacts his pastime of transcendently kicking. Even if even one particle of dust falls on the head of some fortunate persons, they will certainly achieve auspiciousness. In other words, that anartha nivritti, or freedom from unwanted things, is guaranteed. The exhibition of such great compassion by Sri Vishnu or the Vaishnavas is beyond the imagination or the intelligence of the foolish non-devotees, who cannot discriminate between what is favorable and what is unfavorable for their own welfare. The all auspicious endeavors and behavior of the preachers and practitioners of pure devotional service to Gaura Krishna follow in the footsteps of Thakur Sri Vrindavan, who is a direct incarnation of Sri Vyasa, display on one hand, gross punishment on the fallen, averse living entities, and on the other hand, subtle, unlimited compassion upon them. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shritafpada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishravamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Shate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminati Namane Nijaguru Hari Vanya Krishna Chitto Vichinto Parihita Pitrike Hadyanda Sangsara Kupaha Prabhu Bhajana Sukabdo Majjayan Somsa Vishwa Bhuvi Jayate Vikaso Bhakti Purvo Yatindraha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namane Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhakti Da Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namosate Vagisha Yasya Vadane Lakshmir Yasya Chivakshisi Yasyasya Hridaye Samvittam Nrsimham Aham Bhaje. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today is the appearance day of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, and before we get into this purport, a little more information of Vrindavan Das Thakur is Krishnadas Kaviraj in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Before, when in one of the chapters, when he describes how he received the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, it's a very amazing chapter where he's speaking about how he was in a festival with a couple of devotees, and then his brother was a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he always disregarded Nityananda Prabhu. He didn't really think that he was actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this actually was a very important dividing factor amongst people back then, especially after the disappearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just like we can see, after the disappearance of, or after, the Prophet Muhammad died, Islam spread into like Sufism and Sunnism, and even amongst them, there's like so many divisions and all these things, and they fight and they kill each other. Christianity, case in point, right? They have the Catholic Church And it's not just the Catholics and the Protestant church. There's like so many different kinds of churches, right? There's a United Methodist Church, which this temple used to be a United Methodist Church at some point of time. And then there's so many Presbyterian, Lutheran, Baptist, Pentecostal. You know a lot more than most Americans. That's amazing. What else? Catholic, of course, right? That was the OG, and like that the Syrian. Okay, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. Syrian. Then you had a Korean Presbyterian. There's so many. There's so many different kinds of Christianity that like came about after the disappearance of Jesus Christ. So similarly, after the disappearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there are many different opinions, about how to follow Lord Chaitanya and who is a bona fide follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And everyone claims to be bona fide. Everyone claims to be like, yes, we're completely bona fide. We're totally bona fide. And one of the main points of contentions is Nityananda Prabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just a devotee of Lord Chaitanya. It's like a major point of contention. Like now we know, Rajendra Nandana Jay, Sachit Suta Hoilo Se, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. What does this mean? This means that the son of Rajendra Nandana, the son of Nanda Maharaj, came as a son of Sachi Mata, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Lord Balaram became Nitai. Lord Balaram became Nityananda Prabhu. So there's a famous, this of course, this point had to be established. And that point of time, there was a major point of contention, amongst a group of Vaishnavas that who is Nityananda Prabhu really? So Vrindavan Das Thakur, he writes this verse. How many times do you think this verse is repeated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita? 3 times? In every chapter? No, it's not repeated in every chapter. 5, that's right, a good fluke. There's 5 times, It's repeated 5 times in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. As a 3 is enough for emphasis, but Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur repeats this verse 5 times, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives different purports for 3 of them actually, and for 2 he doesn't. Chaitanya Bhagavat, sorry. Vrindavan Das Thakur repeats this verse 5 times in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes 3 different commentaries, for each of these verses. He leaves 2 of them out. I think series into the class too. So, we see this, that Ken, whose phone is that? Did I say it's your phone? I asked whose phone it is. So, I know it didn't. It is your phone. Something went wrong here. Please try again next life. What's wrong with you? So we see this, that there was this major point, and Vrindavan Das Thakur establishes this, and by establishing this point, by presenting of this work, he was actually able to root out this misconception. We see this, that there's another verse too that Vrindavan Das Thakur quotes a lot, he speaks about a lot. This is Sarva Vaishnava Kori Mora Namaskar. Divyanga Prabhu, like when he offers obeisance, he always quotes this verse. Sarva Vaishnava Kori Mora Namaskar. Tape Aparaja Kitu Nahi To Amar. That I offer my respectful obeisances to all the original Vaishnavas, the people who are actually Vaishnavas. That's what this translation means, and I could get into it. But at that point of time, Vrindavan Das Thakur had to establish this very firmly, very strongly. Therefore, he made these kind of heavy statements all over the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And Chaitanya, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, while this festival was going on, a great associate of Nityananda Prabhu comes into the assembly of the Vaishnavas, and all the Vaishnavas are very ecstatic to see him. I think his name was Rama Keli. Actually, I think it was Abhiram Das Thakur. It was Abhiram Das Thakur, or Ramdas Abhiram. Yeah, Ramdas Abhiram. Yeah, Ramdas Abhiram. Ramakeli is a place, and then Ramdas Abhiram comes in, and he's ecstatic, and he plays the flute, and he's a cowherd boy, and he's like exuberant, and he's just super ecstatic devotee, and like everyone was really happy to see him. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's brother, was, he's like, who is this person? Who is this Avadut person? Avadut, not Avadut Chandra, but like Avadut means like a person who is, very too mad in the ecstasy of love of God, and they can't really function so well in a normal society. So who is this Avadut? Why are we giving him so much respect? We don't need to give such a person so much respect. let's just continue with our festival. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has a problem with him and chastises him heavily. And then that night, Nityananda Prabhu is so pleased with him that he appears to him in a dream. And there's this beautiful painting. Kalki Prabhu, do you think you can pull that up? The painting of Nityananda Prabhu are appearing in front of in front of Krishnadas Kaviraj in his dream, where he comes and usually, okay, what is the complexion of Lord Nityananda? Who knows? No. Yes. Close. Gold. Not blue. Yeah, that's right. Rakta Gora. Reddish gold. That is the complexion of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. But when he appeared in the dream of Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj, he appeared in a blackish form. And he was surrounded by all his cowherd boys, and they were playing flutes and bugles and all these things. And Nityananda Prabhu tells Krishnadas Kaviraj that, I am very pleased by the way you defended my position. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go to Sri Vrindavan Dham, and there you will attain all perfection. So immediately Krishnadas Kaviraj woke up, and without thinking, without telling anyone, he just packed his stuff. I mean, how much stuff did he pack? He just got whatever little he had to get, and he went to Vrindavan. Yes, this is the picture. Such a beautiful picture. I really love this painting. It's so ecstatic. Nityananda Prabhu.
There is another one actually.
There's another one in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. That's painted in Prabhupada Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is wearing saffron here, the brahmachari. But yes, this is the one. Where's the other one? Yep. This one, not this one. There's another one. No, is it really the same one?
Not the same one.
How it's not the same one? It's not the original one.
That's the original Nityan.
No, it's not the original one. There's another.
Nityananda Prabhu and Kaviraj Goswami are fine.
Uh-huh.
Whole background, Gopas were there.
What do you say?
He's,
Oh yeah, he didn't go. This is the. That's it. Third time is a charm.
he's showing to go towards.
There you go. It almost we got the whole picture. But everyone gets the idea, I hope. So this is the pastime. This is the pastime where Krishnadas Kaviraj got darshan of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and Sri Nityananda Prabhu gives him the benediction that you go to Sri Vrindavan Dham, and then you will get all things desirable. Everything desirable will come to you in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So please, yes. Yeah, before he wrote Chaitanya. Vrindavan, so Chaitanya, he's writing this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that I got this in a dream, this vision in a dream, and then he sent him to Sri Vrindavan Dham. And then in Vrindavan Dham, all the devotees were constantly asking him to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So then, when all the devotees are asking him to write, and then they were in the temple, the garland from Madan Mohan falls, and Haridas, not Haridas Thakur, the servant who was taking care of Madan Mohan, his name is Haridas, garlands Sri Vrindavan, Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj, and tells him, the Lord wants you to do this, so please write the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, there's these, there's so many verses glorifying him, but let me just find these. Okay, so I'll just read these. Okay. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami glorifies Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur by saying, Vrindavan Das, the son of Narayani, wrote the Chaitanya Mangal. So at that point of time, when Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote the Chaitanya Bhagavat, he actually called it Chaitanya Mangal. But then Loshan Das Thakur also wrote a similar book called Chaitanya Mangal. So he renamed his book to Chaitanya Bhagavat. Vrindavan Das, the son of Narayani, wrote the Chaitanya Mangal. Veda Vyas described Krishna's life in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and Vrindavan Das is the Vyasa of Chaitanya Leela. So it's very important to understand that Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur is actually is Veda Vyas himself, and then also another cowherd boy who in Krishna Leela. Both of them enter into the body of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, and that's who Vrindavan Das Thakur is. Just like Veda Vyas wrote the Vedas and he glorified Krishna in the Bhagavatam. Similarly, Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, simply to glorify him. So now I can read these few verses. Okay. Just as Vyasadeva compiled Lord Krishna's pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam, Thakur Vrindavan Das depicted Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. His Chaitanya Mangal annihilates all misfortune. From it I learned the wonders of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, and came to know of all the subtle and of all I came to know all the most subtle doctrines of devotional service to Krishna. Vrindavan Das Thakur has summarized the essence of the teachings of the Srimad Bhagavatam in his Chaitanya Mangal. If even a Muslim or an atheist should listen to Chaitanya Mangal, he immediately becomes a great Vaishnava. An ordinary human being could not have composed such a sublime work. Lord Chaitanya himself has spoken through the mouth of Vrindavan Das. I offer millions of obeisances unto the lotus feet of Vrindavan Das Thakur, who has delivered the entire universe through his book. He was born in the womb of Narayani, who eternally enjoys Sri Chaitanya's remnants. How wonderful is his description of the activities of the Lord, simply by hearing which the three worlds have become sanctified. So, everyone can understand that Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is a bona fide personality, because every person who writes a commentary or anything like that always glorifies their predecessor acharyas. So he's offering due respect to Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, and we can understand that even Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is a completely bona fide follower. So he's saying like this, and it's a really ecstatic pastime mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And before we get into it, a really important thing to understand is the importance of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. One of the important points about this is he establishes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some devotees worship as Krishna, but the Gaura Narayana, the opulence and the majesty of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is described in the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. They're able to understand. So much nectar is there, for us to read. Right? We can read all of Prabhupada's books, and we can read Chaitanya Charitamrita. A few times we read Prabhupada's books and we get the blessings of the spiritual master. Read the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So where is there time to bicker amongst ourselves and fight amongst ourselves and watch movie and watch TV and all these other horrible things? We have a TV, throw out the TV, and then just buy a full set of Prabhupada's books and all these other books and read them. This is the most ecstatic thing. So anyway, Vrindavan Das Thakur, he establishes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Gaura Narayana, and he helps one understand the importance of Lord Chaitanya being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He establishes the supremacy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we see this, that Vrindavan Das Thakur, he in the Adi Leela of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, he actually speaks about the Mahaprakasha Leela of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where Lord Chaitanya comes, to the house of Srivas, and there he's displaying his very farm. He's revealing to everyone how he's actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mitraman, do you know which section or which verses they are? You could look it up. Just like Mahaprakash Leela on Veda base, I think you should find it. Oh, you're occupied? Okay. Okay, let's just remember this verse number. Hopefully I can. Anyway. Okay. Adikanda, chapter 9, text number 225. Please remember that so I can. Okay. Maha Prakasha Leela. Let's see if I can pull up some. No. Okay, anyway, I'll just speak about it from memory. It would have been nice if I had all of this pulled up. But Lord Chaitanya comes and he sits on the Vyasasan and he displays to all the devotees how he's actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For example, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's this famous person known as Kolavecha Sridhar. Who remembers who Kolavecha Sridhar is? Who is he? No, that's Sudama. He's Sudama Vipra in Krishna Leela. But in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, what does he do? He sells these banana leaves, right? And he's very poor, and his house is stashed. And Lord Chaitanya feels like, he always comes and he would steal from Kolavecha Sridhar, and then Yeah, he uses half of his income to worship the Ganga. And, he was very poor. And Lord Chaitanya would always go and he would like bargain with him and take all his stuff and give him a really hard time. And then, he would always tell Sri Kulavesha Chida that you're actually a very rich man. Soon I will show the entire world how rich you are. I will very soon show them how rich you are. And then,
Loudly chants.
he every time he would loudly chant Hare Krishna, all his neighbors would think, oh, who's this fool? He's broke as guy, has no money. Therefore, he's chanting Hare Krishna so someone can just go and feed his belly. What does he know? He doesn't know anything on how to live life. And they would blaspheme against Kulavesha Sridhar. So Lord Chaitanya would say, actually, you're a very rich man. Soon I will show the entire world how rich of a person you actually are. So then, when he's performing his Mahaprakash Leela and he's showing everyone how he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu and Krishna and Varaha, and to all the different devotees, he shows their Ishta Devata. That point of time, he calls Kulavesha Sridhar and tells everyone, today I will show you how wealthy this person is. And he shows himself, as being Krishna and displays to everyone the wealth of love of God that Kulavesha Sridhar actually has. And then like this, for Murari Gupta. Who is Murari Gupta? You know all the answers. Prabhu. You're right. You got it right. It's amazing. So, that's right. So, Murari Gupta, he is Hanuman. He's Hanuman. So, who does Lord Chaitanya show himself as? Lord Rama. So, like this, he's showing all these ecstatic, pastimes and manifestations of how amazing he is. And then he says, in Srivas Thakur's house, in Srivas Sangam, he had this 4-year-old niece. Her name is Narayani. And then he tells Narayani, actually, does anyone have Chandan, you have Vedabase on your phone? Just type, let me hear you cry for Krishna. He goes up to Narayani and he tells Narayani, let me hear you cry for Krishna. Cry for Krishna in great ecstasy. And immediately Narayani, she develops the most auspicious symptoms of love for Krishna. She develops the most auspicious symptoms of love for Krishna. And she starts to cry in great ecstasy. And then, she's so fortunate that she would very constantly get to take the remnants. I'll fill it up. Okay, anyway. She constantly gets to take the remnants of Lord Chaitanya. She gets to take the remnants. And then, I'm not able to remember exactly the verse, but if I remember correctly, even when she was pregnant with Vrindavan Das Thakur, she had the remnants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is so amazing that this is Vrindavan Das Thakur's mother. Vrindavan Das Thakur is, I guess we could say so Srivas Thakur's niece's son. So what relationship is that? Is like, is he his grandfather or something like from a distance, right? His grandfather's brother or something like this. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is such a great personality. He is so much devoted to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and he is a disciple of Lord Nityananda. He would travel with Sri Nityananda Prabhu wherever he went, and he so closely observed the pastimes of Lord Nityananda that if we read the Chaitanya Bhagavat, most of the book basically speaks about the glories of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. He's glorifying Lord Nityananda. It's very ecstatic. And there's a book similar to Chaitanya Bhagavat, apparently similar to Chaitanya Bhagavat, and it's called as Nityananda Charitamrita. Nityananda Charitamrita. And many people think it's so sweet, it's such a nectarian, beautiful book, it's so amazing, but it's absolutely bogus. So this book is actually a bogus book because they take the Jata Gosais, the caste Goswamis, Nityananda, yes, from the Jata Gosais, the Nityananda, who claim to be descendants of Lord Nityananda. And that itself, this is an interesting fact, I don't know if you know this, but the Jat Goswais who claim to be followers of Lord Nityananda, coming to be in the seminal line of Lord Nityananda, are actually bogus. Why? Because Lord Nityananda Prabhu had one son. What was his name? Virabhadra. Virabhadra was his name. And he was a celibate. He never got married. So that line never continued. But they say, we are the seminal line from Lord Nityananda. They're completely bogus rascals. So anyway, these Jat Gosais, they claim to be descendants of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So they just took they took all the chapters about Lord Nityananda from Chaitanya Bhagavat and they added 3 more chapters to this. They added, they're called, what's that? Ativadi, Nera, Saki, Daravesh, Churadari, What are the different upper sampradayas? Aul, Baul, Kartabaja, Nera, Saki, Beki, Goranga Nagri, Ativadi, Churadari, Smarta. You know, so 13 upper sampradayas that Tota Das Babaji names. One of them is called Ativari, which means they're a little too much, they're a little over the top. And in Jagannath Puri, you may know there's this version of Bhagavatam which has 13 cantos. Atibadi, they do a little extra over. That is bogus. How can you add some new canto to the Bhagavatam? But they add it like that. So Atibadi, so they also add this 3 chapters to the Chaitanya Bhagavat, which they like, and those 3 chapters basically establish themselves to be the bona fide people, followers of Lord Nityananda. Anyone who wants to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda only has to get initiated by them. So that's a bogus book, and many, unfortunately, our friends in the Krishna consciousness movement say it's such a nectar book, Prabhu. It's such a nectar. So, my heart melted, and you have no idea of what nectar is. And these things are so bogus, And so many times we see devotees, they think like, oh, I just read this, I feel so nectar. I feel like I'm in great bliss and ecstasy and all this stuff. But it's completely bogus. For example, this was right before the COVID pandemic had hit like New York and Orlando and all these places, in Florida and all these different places, North Carolina, all this. So, we were in New York, and we were planning on going somewhere. Myself and another person, Gopal Champu, both of us were planning on going somewhere to distribute books. And the temple president, he called us up. Oh, wow, I heard you're coming to such and such a place. I just fainted in ecstasy just hearing this news. I was like, well, this guy, either he's bogus or really bona fide. I didn't want to jump to a conclusion. And then the next day, the news broke out about like COVID, and then said, Prabhuji, actually, we really don't want you to come. We really don't want you to come tomorrow. And I was like, what happened to all the ecstasy that you felt yesterday? What happened to that ecstasy? Just went away somewhere, So we see these, so nectar, but it's bogus. We are perceiving things through our mundane senses. So like this, so many upper sampradayas and all these things come about. And when we hear about these things, when we see all these things, we should not think that, oh, this is just some historical fact. It's just something historical, something which happened some time ago. Let's reminisce on the history and see how it was in the good old days. But no, these deviations Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur speaks about, because they happen wherever Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says. And this is in the Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava. I don't know, Mitravan, if you know exactly where this quote is, but he speaks about how wherever there's Shuddha Bhakti, right behind Shuddha Bhakti as a shadow comes Prakrita Sahajyavat. There is just like this. Just like where there's Krishna, behind Krishna is Maya. Right? Vedavyas, when he saw Krishna, what did he see? He saw Krishna, and behind him he saw Maya. Because Maya is subservient to Krishna, she's too ashamed to come in front of him. So similarly, wherever pure devotional service is being preached, those who want to be cheated in the guise of pure devotional service are always given the facility of Prakrita Sahajyavat. They're given facility to deviate from the real teachings of pure devotional service. And because they do such a thing, because such a possibility is there, a person must not think, oh wow, this is something of the past. It's a very beautiful point to remember or to note. But no, these things happen right here, right now. Why is it that although Prabhupada told us never to worship demigods, we come in and we worship demigods. We do Shiva Abhishek. We go to some temples in the west over here. We go to the temples of our friends in the Krishna consciousness movement, and there we see friends or enemies, but anyway, friends also. We go and we see in their temples they have Hanuman, they have Ganesh, they have, I'm forgetting, there was one. Who is the other popular demigod? Shiva, Hanuman, Ganesh, and Durga. So Durga also. So they have this, there's the main altar, there's a temple where Srila Prabhupada came personally. Yes, sir, indeed. I was heartbroken, shocked, and I wanted to, I either felt suicidal or homicidal, so I got out of there as soon as possible. You know what that means? Suicidal means you want to kill yourself, and homicidal means you want to kill everyone else. So I thought better not to do either, and I just got out of there as soon as possible. So, we went there and we saw, there's these beautiful deities installed by Srila Prabhupada. And it's a huge thing, and the Prabhupada Leelamrita has spoken extensively about how Prabhupada got this property and did all this and did all that. And then we go there and there's like these beautiful deities of Radha Krishna and some other deities bona fide. And then on the other side, they have the Hindu stuff. Like they have Shiva, Durga, Ganesh, and Hanuman. I saw him somewhere on the side. And and then soon, in a few decades, Sai Baba is going to show up, and like everyone's going to show up, and it's horrible. But these things are going on, right? And if you say something, you're a Vaishnava Paradi. And that's precisely what Vrindavan Das Thakur says in this Sarva Vaishnava Kori Mora Namaskar. That I offer my respectful obeisances to all the bona fide Vaishnavas. What does that mean? That means that there's by nature there are non-devotees in the guise of devotees. There's demons in the guise of devotees. Yes, that's right. So renegades, Prabhupada writes in the Chatur Shloki of the Bhagavatam. In the verse of the Bhagavatam, we see, so who do you think first came up with the handshake? Handshake is a common thing. You go and you shake people's hand, right? When one man meets another gentleman, or like, who came up with the handshake? Krishna himself and Lord Brahma. When Brahma achieves perfection and actually gets to see Krishna, Krishna personally comes and shakes his hand. That yes, and then he gives him. So, in this whole pastime, in this whole purport, Prabhupada speaks about how there's renegades within the Krishna consciousness movement who, although claim to be followers of the Krishna consciousness movement, they speak something which is completely bogus. And they do not accept the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead while claiming to be followers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why we see over here that Vrindavan Das Thakur also is speaking about how he wants to kick on the head of the sinful people who do not accept Lord Nityananda. Why? Why is this? Why? Because Lord Nityananda, when he came, he had two activities, two things. What are they? Prema Pracharana Ara Pashanda Dalana Dui Brahmana Kare Avaduta. That Lord Nityananda had two primary activities. What are they? To preach love of God. Is that it? It's just what comes along with it. When you go to preach love of God, you naturally have to kick out all kinds of misconceptions. It is just what it goes. And that's why in another place, our friends in the Krishna consciousness movement told us, we don't want to preach people about what's in Prabhupada's books. And then they told us, we'd rather give people prema than tattva. No! Again, suicidal or homicidal, So I just got out of there. So, it's just, either it's better to give people prema than tattva. But the understanding is there is no prema without tattva. And there is no tattva without prema. There is no bhakti without siddhanta. There is no siddhanta without bhakti. There is no Vedanta without bhakti. And there is no bhakti without Vedanta. It is impossible. Both of them go together. Is there fire without heat? No. Is there fire without light? No. They all go together. Similarly, prema goes with tattva. Bhakti goes with siddhanta. Siddhanta goes with bhakti. Bhakti goes with Vedanta. Vedanta goes with Bhakti. These things are inseparable. We cannot separate the light from the sun. We cannot separate the heat from the sun. We cannot separate the heat from the fire. We cannot separate wetness from water. Same way, we understand this point. But there's so many people who just want to come up with their own Haribol stuff, and it's just really bogus. So that's why Vrindavan Das Thakur over here is speaking about how he wants to kick. What's up with this? Like, I don't want to kick the TV. Chapati adare. Hello? I don't know what's going on. This thing, you see? Technology. That's the way everything works, right? Okay, let me try. No signal. Okay, anyway. That's why Vrindavan Das Thakur speaks about how he wants to kick the head of any... Okay, awesome. Thank you, Nelly. Thank you for that. So he wants to kick on the head of any sinful person who disregards the glories of Lord Nityananda and dares to criticize him. So the word parihara, over here, the eta parihare. So the word parihara means to rectify the faults, to drop the charges, to pray, to offer, to abandon, and to neglect. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is speaking about how anyone who genuinely who dares to criticize Sri Nityananda Prabhu, they actually get to get chastised by the devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They get to get chastised, they get to get corrected. What is it? They're meant to be rectified of their faults, to drop the charges. What charges are they supposed to drop? The charge of being criminal against the bona fide teachings of Rupa Goswami. The charge of being criminal against the bona fide position of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. To pray, we pray to them. Please, forget all your hogwash. What is this? Dante nidayate nakam padayo nipatya kritva chakakushada eta ham bravimi. Hey sadhava, sakala eva vihaya durad, goranga chanda charane, krutanuraga. That Srila Prakashananda, Prabhu, right. Srila Prabodhananda, you're right. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati writes in the Chaitanya Chandramrita, right? Chaitanya Chandramrita, he writes this, Dante nidayadidakam padayor nipatya. My dear sir, you go meet someone, you say, my dear sir, you are so learned, you are so nice. You're actually the best stuff I've ever seen. Hey man, you're like the coolest homie on the block, or like whatever you tell them. When I see you, I feel like you always had a passion for flashing. Before you had it, you close your eyes and imagine. You can tell them anything, like, wow, you're so amazing. You're so great, so wonderful. And I keep a straw between my teeth and I fall at your feet and I just beg you, my dear intelligent sir, kindly forget all your hogwash and please worship the beautiful moonlight personality of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we pray to them. We offer them the great opportunity to get out of this material world. We pray to them to abandon all these horrible ideas that they have, to neglect their material desires. So this is what Vrindavan Das Thakur and his followers do. In order to permanently stop this, this is, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is so amazing. By this statement, where is that? Yeah. Criticize and to render them eternal benefit and good sense, the authors say to kick them in the head. By the statement of the most merciful Sri Thakur Mahashaya to the staunch atheists, the transcendental goddess of learning, Shuddha Saraswati, displays the firm attachment of a servant toward the master. And then, where is this? Other purity. Okay, there you go. Through Sri Nityananda Prabhu, thus teaching everyone through illuminating words that although Thakur Mahashaya and other pure devotees who act and preach in his footsteps are detached from those who are extremely uninterested in their own welfare, who are determined to run towards hell, who are ignorant of the truth regarding Nityananda, they are nevertheless selflessly and causelessly merciful toward the fallen souls. We all know of such people who are, let's just say, who are extremely uninterested in their own welfare. Have you ever met them before? Sometime, all the time, most of the time? Most of the time, right? Every time, I guess you're seeing one right now. So most of the time, we go and we see so many people who are not interested in their own welfare. Right? Am I like somehow like canvassing every purport to speak about book distribution? No, this is what the purport's saying. That, we see this over here. We see so many people who are uninterested in their own welfare. What do they know? What is that? Nitai Sharina Satya Tanhara Sevaka Nitya. Nitai Pada Sadakoro Ash. Or the other one, Nitai na Bajilo Muke, Majilo Samshara Suke, Vidya Kule Kikori Betar. Vidya Kule Kikori Betar. That in Nitai na Bolilo Muke, that mouth doesn't chant the glories of Nityananda Prabhu. Nitai na Bolilo, Majilo Samshara Suke. And then instead of experiencing the great ecstasy of love that Sri Nityananda Prabhu comes to give, the great ecstasy of love for Lord Chaitanya, the great ecstasy of love for Lord Sri Krishna, instead of experiencing that, a person goes and tries to enjoy the happiness in the material world as though it's something very desirable. It's simply chewing the chewed. It's simply chewing the chewed. So, and what does Narottam Das Thakur say? Vidya kule ki kori betar. What will your great learning and family education do to help you? What will it do to help you? Nothing. It will not do anything. It's simply a useless waste of time. And as again, Narottam Das Thakur says, Asatya re satya kori mani. They simply take something false to be true. And because they take something false to be true, what hope do these people have? They take everything false to be true. They think, oh, actually, it's not about like, it's your truth and it's my truth. And, and I respect everyone. I respect everyone's opinion. Everything is fine. It's like, you may have one perspective, I may have one perspective. And we should be accepting of everyone's perspective. Have you met anyone who says they want to be accepting of everyone's perspective? So what do you tell them at that point of time? My perspective is you should follow my perspective. So will you follow my perspective? No. Then why are you claiming this nonsense idea? My idea is that you should follow my idea. Will you now what happened to all your openness, amazingness, and all these things? No, it's simply bogus. So they take something false to be true. Asatyere satya kori mane. They take something completely bogus to be the absolute truth. And because they take something bogus to be the absolute truth, people suffer in this material world. They do not understand what their own welfare is. And who are determined to run towards hell. We see this. So many people are completely determined to run towards hell. You see, Matirna Krishna Paratasvatova Mitopi Badyeta Grahavatanam Adantako Bir Vishatam Tamishram Punas Sharvata Sharvananam. Matirna Krishna Paratasvatova. There'll be so many people, you can go and give them good instructions. Please, wake up in the morning. Wake up, for Mangalati. Chant your rounds. Chant 16 rounds. Your problems will be solved. Everything is there. Association of devotees is there. The facility is there. People who genuinely love you and care for you are there. Everything is there. Everything is there. Just don't be offensive to the holy name and do not be offensive to the Vaishnavas. And all things desirable will be bestowed upon you. This is a great boon of a parampara. But still, people come, they say, oh, I hate this devotee, I hate that devotee, I hate this one, I hate that one. And they leave and they go away and they rot in the material world. Time and again and time and again and time and again we've seen this. So many people come and go, unable to take the pure nectar of Krishna. But those people, there's one thing if a person is offensive and they really have no hope. It's another thing if people have weakness of heart. And weakness of heart can be dealt with. And how can it be dealt with? By the association of devotees. Weakness of heart can be dealt with. It's not that everyone who struggles to, follow the four legs or chant their rounds are all like big rascals and demons. No. Some people may just have weakness of heart. And then, as long as they have the sincere desire to let go and be firmly situated again, they are glorious. But they should not be envious of the principles of pure devotional service. That's the point. And then eventually at a certain point of time, they can't do sense gratification anymore. Why? Because a person who is not envious, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur makes this really amazing statement that when a person is not envious of the devotees of Krishna, when a person is not envious of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, at that point of time, even if they come into the association of devotees and they leave it, then the ghost of bhakti haunts them wherever they go. Wherever they go, and they may try to enjoy this, they may try to think of some of the old habits that we may have had. Wherever we go, like even if we try to go hang out with our old friends again or like do all the things we used to do again, everyone will feel like this is really not the same as associating with the devotees. It's really not the same. Like let's just say I went and met my stoner friends again, there's no way the same rasa could, it's completely gone. All the juice, all the taste is completely disappeared. Completely disappeared. But those people who remember that actually, yes, this, Krishna consciousness is so nice, the devotees are so nice, I'm such a fool to leave. I really wish, Krishna somehow, please, if we simply make an ardent prayer to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and especially to Lord Nityananda, my dear Lord Nityananda, I'm really struggling. If you could please help me get back to the association of devotees. Lord Nityananda showers his causeless mercy upon such a person by giving them instructions, by giving them association. More than anything, if we can simply pray for the determination to practice Krishna consciousness properly, then we will get the strength. We will get the strength. We will get the strength from the spiritual master. We will get the strength. What is this? Sakala samana korite shakati deho nata jata jata. That, we pray to be able to view people how they are and also have the strength to practice Krishna consciousness. Sakala samana korite shakati. Give me the strength to follow. Give me the strength to follow. And, every day we should pray, every day. Oh, wow. Every night that I've been going to sleep the past 9 years, I'm really surprised that, wow, follow the four legs, chant my 16 rounds, and stay in the association of devotees. That's like a big achievement for a rascal like me. Every night I think like, wow, thank God I made it today. And day after day, it's a day by day thing. We have to make it every day. And this really ecstatic purport of a commentary of Srila Sridhar Swami on Tatenu Kampam Susamikshmano Bhunjana Evatma Kritam Vipapkam Hridbhag Babudbir Vididam Namasti Jivetayo Mukti Pade Sadhaya Bhak. Right? This is what, 10, 14, 14? Right? 10, 14, 14. This is a really amazing verse. And if we find ourselves struggling, which we all do, some struggles are bigger than the others, but struggles are struggles. And like they say in Atlanta, the struggle is real. So we see this here. 10, 14, 14. This is a really ecstatic verse. Come on, I really had faith in you, Mitra 1. 10:14:8. Okay. You reestablish my faith. So, my dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds, and offering you respectful obeisances within his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. And in the purport to this, Sridhar Swami makes this really amazing point. Let's just say that you're a son of a really rich man. Son of a really rich man. What do you have to do to inherit the wealth of the father? Just have to stay alive. If you simply stay alive, then you'll inherit the wealth. So similarly, we simply have to stay alive in our Krishna consciousness by following, by following strictly, by not being offensive to devotees, by not being envious of the principles of pure devotional service, and surrendering at every point of time. Surrendering. You know, and when we do this, we can stay in Krishna consciousness. You want to be a brahmachari, like you know, you were saying yesterday that one of our god brothers said, if you don't surrender to the temple commander, then you'll have to surrender to the wife commander. Yeah. You know, so Chandan is like, yep, that's me, I'm the temple commander. But he surrenders too, like anything. So, you know, we see this, that, you know, it's simple. You know, if we simply stay alive, okay, what's the big deal? Like, you don't count your Lakshmi, you're going to get chastised and, like, you know, do the same thing. No one is going to, like, ask you, all like, get a job and I want you to, like, take care of 5 kids who cry every night and you don't let you sleep and like, stuff. No, it's a simple thing. It's a simple thing. It's like, what's the problem? You know, it's easy. It's simple. Just stay alive. You know, there's no, people get so mental, like, oh, no, this freaking temple commander, I hate this guy. I hate it. And then what? And then you can't sleep. You know, my brother told me, I don't know why I get into this path almost every time, but still. My brother told me that it's been 3 years since he slept for more than 5 hours 5 hours in the whole day. 5 hours. He has to work a job. He's like in this top, he like does like the IT stuff for Amazon, you know, so like, you know, he's like all the, you know, big brain stuff, you know, big dadu stuff, you know, and, you know, he works for like 8 or 10 hours, but then he also has to study for another 4 hours to be in touch with the technology. And that's 14 hours already. And he has a wife and a kid, and he's going to have another one. You know, just imagine, like, do you want to go through that? Like, really? Just stay alive, because she gets just ecstatic. Like, what's the problem? You know, get a few chapatis and, like, go on with life. You know, it's ecstatic, you know. Just stay alive in Krishna consciousness is a blissful process, you know. What is this? We were singing yesterday. Prabhu Mora Nityananda Kevala Ananda Kanda. Vrindavan Das Thakur says this, you know. Prabhu Mora Nityananda Kevala Ananda Kanda. Can you look that up? The bhajan, the last line of that bhajan we posted in Ashram Communication with Lord Nityananda, Antar Bahir Nitai or whatever. The first one that was posted, the last line of the first one. Prabhu Mora Nityananda Kevala Ananda Kanda. And how does it work? The verse end? Guna Gaya Vrindavana Das. You know that, you know, Prabhu Mora Nityananda, Lord Nityananda Prabhu is my master. And how is my experience of having such a glorious master? It is absolutely ecstatic. Kevala Ananda Kanda. It's only ecstatic. It's nothing but ecstasy. Guna Gaya Vrindavana Das. And what does he do? He chants the glories and gets more ecstatic. There's a simple process to stay alive in Krishna. Is it so hard to come to Mangalati and dance like crazy and have a good time? Not have a good time, but dance for the pleasure of the Lord? Is it so hard? Even if you feel like, oh man, it's 4:30 in the morning, these freaking fools had me take a bath too, and like all this stuff. But you know, if you simply dance in the morning, you'll actually feel ecstatic. Even if you don't want to dance and you'll feel the ecstasy. Prabhupada said this. It's so amazing. You chant, then you know you're in the association devotees, you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Naam vina kichu nahi kuaro. Come on, you chant this every day. You still don't know. Chauda bhuvana maje. Every day, like, everywhere, I can hear it. He's singing in the bathroom, I can hear it in my room. It's so loud. He's Chauda Bhuvana Maji. There's nothing so more ecstatic than the holy name of Lord Sri Krishna. It's so ecstatic. In the 14 worlds, there's nothing great. Is it so hard to chant Hare Krishna? Is it so hard? What bliss is there in associating with karmis? What bliss is there in, like, taking intoxicants? What bliss is there in eating meat? What bliss is there in illicit sex? What bliss is there in intoxication? There is no bliss, it's only suffering. It's only suffering. And it tortures a person more and more and more and more every time. Simply torture, simply torture. But Vrindavan Das Thakur is so kind that although we are rascals like this, okay, am I saying that rascals? Right? Okay. he says that anyway. So, Vrindavan Das Thakur is so kind. He's so kind that he's willing to kick our head because we are rascals, because we are running towards hell, and who are ignorant of the truth regarding Sri Nityananda Prabhu. But still, nevertheless, he is selflessly and causelessly merciful. Selflessly and causelessly merciful. It's so nice. They're so merciful. I was just thinking like all the tricks that Prabhupada used to get us, and who was talking about the net? We were talking about the net recently. Anyway, so has anyone ever seen a video of a fisherman catching fish? Right? So how does it work? So when a fisherman throws his net into the ocean or the lake or the river or whatever, then at that point of time, although the fish are caught, the fish may be caught, but the fish don't know that they're caught. They still like think they have room to float around, within the net. They think I'm still free. But then the fisherman slowly starts to grab this, tighten the net until the fish can't breathe anymore. Next thing you know, they're on the land. But when they're caught in the net, most of the fish don't even know that they're caught in the net. Who was I talking to about this? Someone told me. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. So we were, the net, you guys get, you Prabhus and Matajis get the analogy, right? That the fish, when the net is thrown and they're already caught, they don't realize that they're caught. They still think that, wow, I'm just like swimming and being a stupid fish and, whatever. But, but then like they pull the fish out and they're on the land next thing, So similarly, Prabhupada's methods for capturing the hearts of the living entities is so amazing that Prabhupada has thrown a net into this material world, especially our planet and our universe. He's thrown into a net. And it may seem like, oh, these, what happened? I went and distributed books to this guy. Why didn't he become a Mahabhagavat on the spot? I distribute books every day. Why didn't I become a Mahabhagavat on the spot? But the thing is, we are caught in the net of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are caught in the net of Srila Prabhupada. We're caught in the net of all the great acharyas. We're caught in the net of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. We're all caught in the net. And as long as we don't get envious of the principles of pure devotional service, they're reeling us in. And reeling us in. Next thing you know, you're out of this material world. So we just have to stay alive in Krishna consciousness. It's not so hard, actually. Especially if you take it day by day and not get mental, like, 5 years? 5 years, I got to stay in Krishna consciousness. 5 years more? 5 years, I got to be a brahmachari? Or then they say, what is that other thing? I have to practice everything for my whole life? My whole life I have to follow the four. I say, what's the problem? You just take it day by day. Next thing you know, it's gone. It's gone. We have so many senior devotees here, Ranchur Prabhu, Jai Govinda Prabhu. Like, does it feel like, oh my God, it's been such a long time? Or like, you just took it day by day? How is it? How is it that it just, does it seem like time just flashed in front of you? How can it be? What do you say? Yeah, how could it be that long? Like just flashes in front of you, right? Do you also feel like that? I remember like, I came in when I was 19. I'm 28 now. 9 years. 9 years I somehow made it. I'm shocked. How did it happen? But it's just you take it day by day. You just don't get mental. Like people get so mental about oh my God, my whole life. It's simple. It's easy. It's nothing. Just be happy in Krishna. Prabhu Mola Nityananda Kevala Ananda Kanda. Guna Gai Vrindavan Das. It's so ecstatic. Vrindavan Das Thakur is singing the glories of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Causelessly merciful. While Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur who's a Vaishnava Acharya, direct incarnation and servant of Vyasa, servant of Nityananda, so incarnation of Vyasa and a servant of Sri Nityananda, enacts his pastimes by transcendently kicking even one particle of dust falls on the head of some fortunate persons, they will certainly achieve all happiness, auspiciousness. In other words, their anartha divinity or freedom from all unwanted things is guaranteed. The exhibition of such great compassion by Sri Vishnu and the Vaishnavas is beyond the imagination of or intelligence of the foolish non-devotees who cannot discriminate between what is favorable and what is unfavorable for their own welfare. The all auspicious endeavors and behavior of the preachers and practitioners of pure devotional service to Gaura Krishna, who follow in the footsteps of Thakur Vrindavan Das, who is a direct incarnation of Sri Vyas, display on one hand the gross punishment of the fallen averse living entities, on the other hand subtle unlimited compassion upon them. When we say hogs, camels, and asses, fools, hogs, and all these things, it's love. We just repeat what Prabhupada says, and then even if we don't want, if we simply go and distribute the books, like, am I like twisting this purport to speak about book distribution? It's right there. Everyone sees it right there. Please say yes. Yes, okay. So you see it. It's right there. It's right there in the purport. There, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is asking you to distribute books. Get off the mental platform. Go and give everyone a Srimad Bhagavatam set. Go and give everyone a full, at least a sapta, at least a bhakti set. And if the guy is broke as a joke, at least give him the spiritual yoga, right, Nally? Give them the spiritual yoga acharya. We can just go and give them these books. By giving them these books, all auspiciousness is started. Remember the net of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The minute they get the book, they're caught in the net. They think they're swimming, but they're not. In a matter of time, they're going to be chucked out of this material world into the spiritual world. So remember, this is a very important point. We have to distribute books. And Vrindavan Das Thakur says 5 times in the Chaitanya Bhagavat that he wants to kick on the head of the people who do not accept the supremacy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So similarly, we also want to kick on the head of people who do not accept the authoritative, the authenticity of Srila Prabhupada. We have to be, we need to have fidelity, firm fidelity towards Prabhupada. What does fidelity mean? It just means the chastity that a wife has towards her husband. Avyabhicharini bhakti. Like the devotion of a chaste wife, not the devotion of a prostitute. You need to have a chaste devotion to Prabhupada. And by pranamami sada Prabhupada padam, by firmly staying at the lotus feet of Prabhupada, all our success is guaranteed. Shri Guru Charani Rati, Ese Uttama Gati, Ye Prasadi Puri Sarva Ash. You'll get the Uttama Gati. Om Tad Vishnu Yat Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suryayoho. All we have to do is keep our eyes on the prize, and all success is guaranteed. So I'll end the class here. If there's any questions or comments, we can take them now. Rancho Prabhu, Jai Govinda Prabhu, anything? Okay? Chandan, Acharya, or let's call you Acharya. Acharya Prabhu.
So I was just with Vrindavan Das Thakur, stating all this. So he would write the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Do you know?
I know that Lord Nityananda just abandoned him. He told him, "That's it. You don't travel with me anymore." And then he wrote. I'm not sure exactly where he wrote it down.
If you go to Vrindavan, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's Samadhi,
the place where he wrote the Chaitanya
where he
Charitamrita.
wrote that Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's really amazing.
That's ecstatic. Whoa, that's like
somebody there will you give it a little donation and they'll give you prasadam and you can take darshan and.
Wow, that's ecstatic,
it's really, man. When the devotees get to go to the holy dham, especially Vrindavan. It's right next to Radhika.
That's right, because that's where Raghunath Das Goswami and him, right, they would have like a 3-4 hour Bhagavatam class or Chaitanya Charitamrita class every day. And Krishna Kaviraj has photographic memory, so he remembers everything. And then he only writes, he says, I can't write everything, otherwise the book will become too voluminous, So he only wrote some pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, but even those is so ecstatic. That would be like a dream come true. I have 2 dreams. One is to go to 3 dreams. To go to the Radha Damodar temple where Prabhupada wrote the first canto of the Bhagavatam, and then the Bhakti Siddhanta is Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math, where there's a printing press, and and that's where he left his body, right? I mean, not left his body, disappeared from this world, and then this, it's ecstatic. Anyway.
Also, you should visit there. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur met there. First time.
Ulta Dingi definitely. It's on my bucket list. I hope the Lord lets me. Yeah, I saw the video. Anything else? Abhi.
How old was Vrindavan Das Thakur when he compiled the Chaitanya Bhagavat?
I'm not sure. Sorry. What difference does it make? Yes, I would.
Being referred to as Thakur Mahashai?
It's Vrindavan Das Thakur.
Ah.
It's another way of saying His holiness, His grace, His. Anything else? Nally.
Hare Krishna. I was gonna we spoke about. You said something about the ghost of Bhakti.
Yeah.
That haunts you if you're not envious.
Yeah.
Anyways, a few verses. Me and Nick were actually talking about this.
Uh-huh.
A person fixed in devotional service of the Supreme Lord the Lord of the highest auspiciousness, swims in the ocean of nectar. For him, what is the use of the water in small ditches?
Can you like speak a little louder and slower?
Yeah, and the next, do you want me to repeat that?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't understand
Sorry.
anything you said. I'm like, am I falling asleep in Bhagavatam class? Like, whoa.
A person fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord of the highest auspiciousness, swims in the ocean of nectar. For him, what is the use of the water in small ditches? And then another translation is, my dear Vyas, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, fruitive workers, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. And also, and I think this is, how do you say it? Subari Muni?
Shaubhari Muni.
Shobari Muni. This is like from a purport. Those who are not Atma Tattva Vit, who do not know this value of spiritual life, can be satisfied with external material opulences, but those who are Atma Tattva Vit are not inspired by material opulence. This is the instruction we can derive from the life and activities.
Off?
Shobari.
Shaubhari Muni. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. See, like, oh, who? Yes, mothers.
In the beginning of the class, you were talking about how Lord Nityananda appeared to Krishna Das Kaviraj, and
Yes, ma'am.
in his form was blackish,
Yes.
and he had cowherd friends.
Yeah.
He has that form, or was it just like Krishna that appeared? I've never heard of that form of Lord
Yeah,
Nityananda
you know,
before.
it's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that he appeared like that, so we should take it. Yes, he does. That's why he appeared like that. Anything else? Okay. And Mataji's? Nothing else? Good? Okay.
You're just mentioning, like, talking about your brother and all that. Yeah. It's like, sleeps like 5 hours a day.
Max. Really. On a good day, it's 5 hours. On
And
most days, like, oh my
I
Lord.
was just thinking along those same lines, and like for devotees, sometimes it's like that too.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes.
sometimes it's not often like
Not for everyone. It's
you know. But I was just thinking along those lines, and a devotee was telling me yesterday, it's like sometimes devotees like they work and work in devotional service, and they forget like that they have to take care of their body. And
Right.
it's like because we actually don't feel it sometimes. It's just like you're going and you're going and going, and it's like, oh damn, I'm like starting to mess my material body up. But you're feeling whereas
The
your
burn.
brother's feeling like the burden of material life. We're feeling the ecstasy of spiritual life.
yeah.
And so you kind of forget a little bit, and you gotta kind of pull yourself back and like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't, because it seems like people will tell us like yesterday we were describing in the
The lower
brahmacharya.
chakras.
Yeah, so
yeah.
they're like that you're focusing that we're
You're
just so-
focusing on the high chakras, focus on the low chakras. Focus on my hand and your face. Yeah. Or like rather kick on the head anyway, whatever.
So,
Chapati.
so I was just thinking along those lines. It's like the ecstasy of devotional service. When you just like you're saying, like it's 5 years so long, but it's like for you it's been 9 years. For some of us it's been 5 years in the brahmacharya ashram, and it just does feel like it's just gone so quickly. And every day
Yeah.
it feels like, oh my God, there's not enough time. There's not enough time, even though like some of our days are 18 hours long.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, there's not enough time to do anything. So it's just like, it's nice. It's nice when
Yeah.
you're absorbed in that.
Fully, like, yeah.
It's not
And then-
suffering. It's like you're
Yeah.
feeling like
Totally.
more and more and
Big
more.
time. Yeah. Even in the marathon, like
Yeah.
so fired up. I sleep. I'm like, bro, I'm in the airport. Oh no, wait, I just woke up. To the airport now, just like we can't think of anything else. This is samadhi. That's the goal, to be in samadhi. Anyway, anything else? Oh, 3 minutes. Come on. I can get a buzzer beater in. No, Matsya. You have anything? Oh no. Okay. Topaz Mataji.
In class you said you were talking about weak-hearted. What does that mean? What does
Weak-hearted means that You know this is the right thing to do. You know, like, okay, I need to follow. I need to associate with devotees. I need to do all these things, but we just cannot get enough. Do it. That's like a, like a, not as precise, but that's the definition of being weak-hearted. You can understand more with an example, but you can't be weak-hearted forever either. We have to like rise above being weak-hearted. It's one of the things that when we first come to Krishna consciousness, we experience it, and then like we eventually give up. Like although that attachment to sense objects is not good, still we get attached to it. Still we go ahead and do it. And after we do it, we feel like, oh man, I really messed up. But then after some time, like we practice and we're serious, and at a certain point of time, we just get the determination and we fix our mind. Again, the thing is, we have to keep our eyes on the prize. And we keep our eyes on the prize, and then we get rid of it like that. What verse is that? No, the verse number. I can pull this up.
That is second chapter, I think.
Second chapter? No. I memorized something. Did I? No, I didn't memorize second chapter. Whoa, I'm flexing unnecessarily. Which verse is that?
Because it is second chapter, because Krishna says, Tatyotishta parantapa.
Okay, did you find it? Yeah. Right. It is in the second chapter. Petty weakness of heart.
What is that? I forgot the line. It's 2, 3,
2, 3.
no?
Whoa, okay.
Klebhyam asmakama.
Klaibyam masmakama partha. Oh man. I've quoted the first line so many times. You know why I've called many men as Klaibi in the past, okay? Klaibi means like eunuch. So I'm like, oh, are you really a man of the Klaibi? Anyway, so over here, Shudram Hridaya Dorbalyam. So, O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading input. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of enemy. So, as weakness of heart, you can say Arjuna also is having weakness of heart. Oh, I do not want to perform my duty and all these things. But Krishna gave him the determination to do so. So, that's how we understand it. Is that okay? Okay.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions in the Harinam Chintamani as well.
Okay, he does. Jai.
One of the impediments not to progress.
Yep. Okay. All right. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Taking over the world with Srila Prabhupada's transcendental book distribution ki jai. Being in it to win it ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhya kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.